Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hi guys. Hi.
Hello.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey guys.
Well, nice to see you.
Hi.
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 It's been another year. This is the time of year where we tell you our favorite things from 2020. So these began during the era where we were making a web series called The Platoon of Power Squadron.
I remember that.
And usually the last few years there's been no news on that front, but there has been news this year. Pops had more exposure than ever before.
Because of Saffron.
Because of Saffron.
Thank you, Saffron.
She started uploading Pops clips as audio on TikTok. And this one of Jonas, it's like sitting at like 2.3 million views right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the...
Way more than our show has ever warranted.
Absolutely. A bunch of TikTok kids came out of the woodwork discussing whether Jonas's admissions were problematic.
Spoiler alert.
They are.
They are.
Saffron actually had to turn the comments off on it because she got tired of all the notifications.
That's cool.
It's very cool. I'll link to her TikTok. We and some of our friends are going to let you know what was the best of 2020 for us.
Jake, what was your favorite movie in 2020?
Palm Springs. Had to be Palm
Nice.
Springs.
Nice.
I absolutely loved it. It's on Hulu. It's a time loop movie, and it's genuinely hysterical, super funny, but also like existential and amazing.
Yeah.
Beautifully executed, and it mostly has to do with, I forget her name every time.
Yeah.
She is the best. She's so good in Palm Springs. It's unbelievable. And Craig and I actually did a movied episode about Palm Springs.
It came out last year, but I watched it this year. Little Women. Greta Gerwig's Little Women. Loved it. The chopping up of the timeline was an incredible choice. Really made it feel so fresh. She brought a little bit of biography into the story, which I'm always a big fan of. Chef's kiss.
Cried so hard.
Oh, I cried.
So hard.
Oh, I needed it.
Yeah.
So that was very useful
Like
to
a
me.
long, slow cry.
Yeah.
Solid 65-minute cry in that movie.
What's your favorite movie of the year?
Klaus.
Klaus?
I think
Palm Springs.
that's a really good one.
Groundhog Day formula done right. And Klaus is the Christmas formula done right.
It's so good.
Ready or Not, hands down. I'm a huge fan of horror movies. It's so much fun. It's just a good time running around with the protagonist. I won't give anything away, but it was a really wonderful movie.
I guess we can say this at the same time.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Little Women.
Enjoyable, and it had Bob Odenkirk in it. And that's the one thing I look for in a movie these days.
It's a beautiful movie, beautifully designed.
Mhm.
A classic, really. Can't go wrong.
It was interesting, like how they incorporated Louise Marie Alcott, her life into it. It's like, and they make her story kind of a part of it. Like you don't know what's real and what isn't.
Okay.
TV show.
3, 2, 1.
Schitt's Creek. Hilarious.
I don't know why we dragged our feet watching it in the first place, but we did, and Jill was like, you have to. Finally we did, and it, like, every season just kept getting better.
Yeah.
And
I just love them so much.
Yes.
Alexis is the greatest, and Dan Levy's the greatest in real life.
And
but Alexis, the character.
Moira.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable. I'm so happy they swept the Emmys.
Oh, we're gonna have the same one for this
1,
one.
2, 3. Taskmaster. That's all I remember about 2020. Was there anything else that happened in 2020 besides watching Taskmaster?
No, I'm pretty sure not. I started watching it on my own, and you were like, wait a second. I smell British people being funny. And then you never let me watch it by myself ever again.
No.
So then we watched it together, and we bonded, finally, after all these years.
Finally.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I discovered it when COVID hit. So the shutdown happened end of March. It's been out for 3 seasons at that point, when everything was ridiculously stressful. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel was a really great way to just watch somebody going through something she never expected. But her sense of humor in how she handled the stresses of her life and the massive changes and everything that was going on with such grace, well, and sometimes not so much grace, a little bit of drinking, just was a really good time. And it really helped me just sort of let loose and forget about what was going on in the world around us. And I really recommend it if you're looking for a laugh.
1, 2, 3. Fleabag!
So much fun.
Yeah, it was just an enjoyable time.
Characters, wonderful, wonderfully flawed.
It was just clever and funny.
You're funny.
Not as funny as Fleabag, the unnamed character.
Oh, of course not.
Of that show.
That's the best part of it.
Book?
I'm gonna go with Sadie by Courtney Stevens, which Summers or Stevens? They're both YA authors. Summers. Again, I really loved the structure of it. It moved back and forth between like the story and the main character that we're following, and then to a podcast that was kind of retracing her footsteps.
Oh, you told me about that.
Kind of.
That
like,
sounds so cool.
I mean, it's not quite like Serial, but like similar to Serial. Lingering, impactful story.
Southern Book Club's Guide to Hunting Vampires.
Oh, you love that author.
By Grady Hendrix. He is incredible. His way of writing modern horror is nostalgic, but without being like wink wink nostalgia. It reminds me of horror movies that I loved before. This one is a delight and just infuriating. The way that men treat women in it, the way that they tackle this vampire at the end is just so satisfying. Shout out to, I never read nonfic, but I had to this year. Stand from the Beginning is incredible. It was not my favorite because it's devastating, so it's hard to call that my favorite, but it has probably changed me the most this year.
Yeah, I read the YA remix and it was also just fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely read a book this year, but I can't remember what it was, and I remember not feeling that strongly about it, so I'm not going to pick it. But Ada got this Curious George box set of books from my dad. They're fun books. Specifically, Curious George flies a kite, and there's bunnies in it, which Ada's very fond of.
Educated, about a girl who grew up in the middle of nowhere in Idaho, did not go to school, but then she taught herself stuff and got her way into college. Didn't cheat, but lied about her educational background.
The Home Edit Life by Clea and Joanna. I don't remember their last names. The Home Edit has been a really fun book to get inspiration from. I listened to it on audiobook. And what was nice about that is I actually listened to it when I went out on walks, when I was cleaning my home, while I was just doing whatever, driving, going to the store, and then of course the Netflix television show came out.
This looks like a self-help book, but it's about interior design. I like it because the author will make weird references sometimes, like to Fight Club. She's British, so there's this dry sense of humor that like you could almost miss if you're not paying attention. And I love this book.
I don't think I read any books this year. I did read several screenplays, though, and they're words on paper, so I'm going to say they're books. I read the screenplay for Rushmore.
That's not new.
A 20-year-old movie, but I've never read the screenplay. And the screenplay is really good, and I think the screenplay is separate from the movie because the Wes Anderson sort of whimsical style isn't as apparent in the screenplay. And the screenplay comes across as much sadder and more biting, and it makes me wonder, like, what would a Rushmore by, like, Greta Gerwig look like?
That'd be fun.
Game?
Animal Crossing. I was a little bit late to the game.
Late to the game.
But once I started, whoo boy, felt
yeah.
really, really nice to have complete control over a little world. There was a lot of not feeling in control of anything, and then I would go play Animal Crossing. It was super fun.
One of the Jackbox games that we've been playing, TKO, where you draw a bunch of designs and you write a bunch of like slogans. Everybody gets different designs and slogans, and you kind of match them up on t-shirts, and the t-shirts do battle against each other, and it's just super fun.
That one's your favorite?
It's my favorite new discovery. Like my favorite, we played Quiplash before.
Okay. Jackbox has been fantastic in terms of social engagement, basically, in 2020. We can get friends online, play games together. It's been really, really nice.
Yeah, very helpful.
I didn't play a lot of new games this year. Last night we played a new set of Jackbox games. I really liked that first one. I think it was called The Devils in the Details, where you're like a family of devils, but you have to like pretend to be humans, and so you have to like accomplish a bunch of tasks, and you have to work together, but like everybody's working on different things at once, and so you're like all shouting over each other to like try to get someone to help you, and to sometimes you have to like explain convoluted rules to them for what they need to do, and it was really fun.
You like tasks.
I like tasks. I like following a specific set of rules. I like seeing things get accomplished.
Yeah.
It ticked all the boxes for me.
But the game for me is Hollow Knight. It's like a Metroid-style game I played on Switch. Early pandemic, I was addicted to it. I haven't played it in a while because I beat it because I'm really good at video games.
We
But
play it with our kids sometimes.
I do. She's like, play Hollow Knight. And she calls the guy you play with Hollow Knight.
Quip it with my friends. During the year of our pandemic, we've been playing Jackbox games. It's been really fun to connect when we're all separated. And I really like Quip It. Quip It is really fun. I enjoy it the most out of all the games that we play. They give you a phrase and then you have to fill in the thing that you think is funny. Not everyone thinks my funny is as funny as their funny. It happens. It's fine. There's usually a lot of like COVID jokes or presidential jokes, and it's just a all around good time. So Quip It from Jackbox Games.
TKO on Jackbox.
Jackbox. I was going to say I didn't play any new games this year.
You did too.
But I played a lot of new games.
Yeah.
Probably the Murder House one. Murder House Trivia.
Murder Trivia Party?
Yeah, Murder Trivia Party.
Trivia.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite one.
Music.
I've only listened to music for like controlling my mood this year. So my song of this year is Move Slower by Mammals, which is chill and upbeat, and that was the mood I was trying to attain the most this year.
Why?
Why?
I didn't really listen to any specific albums this year, but I did gravitate towards a certain Spotify playlist, which is the This Is Chromatics. It's just the Chromatics Assembled Albums playlist. It's a real nice vibe.
One band that I did listen to for the first time this year was Joseph. Also, like the last fun thing we did before we stopped being able to do fun things. We went to see them live here Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. They are so good at the harmonies. They're sisters, right? And then we never got to go to another concert ever
That's the
again.
last thing I remember doing out of the house.
We did other things after that before
Last thing.
lockdown started. Like multiple things that I can vividly remember.
That was the last thing. Did not listen to a lot of music in 2020. So my favorite is telling our Google Home to play Christmas music from the 40s.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite song is Lose You to Love Me by Selena Gomez. I only discovered it about a month ago when Eliza told me that it had come out. I'm sure it's been around for a while. She had heard it from a podcast. This song was recommended to me because of some of my own life experiences and everything that I've gone through. Just getting over somebody who is all absorbing. The suffocation that makes you feel is very unique. This song definitely represented that in, I think, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So I've been listening to it nonstop, repeat for the last month.
Oh shoot, I forgot this one.
Well, I know what mine is.
What's yours?
Mine is Sweeping Promises, which is this band out of Boston, and it sounds like they recorded it in their practice space with a single microphone, and apparently they did use just one microphone, and it sounds great. Sounds like a real rockin' band.
Didn't Frank Ocean come out with a new album this year? I love Frank Ocean. I'll go with that. The new Frank Ocean album.
Podcast, which I also need to look up.
Okay, right as the quarantine was beginning, I heard Dax Shepard on somebody else's podcast. I think it was Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. I heard Dax's episode and I was like, oh my god, Dax Shepard's way more interesting than I thought he was. I liked Hit and Run, but like I still thought of him as Kristen Bell's husband, which is his worst fear. Anyway, I listened to Armchair Expert. It started with me being like, I'm gonna listen to Dax's podcast. And I'd be like, I'm listening to Armchair Expert. And then I was like, I'm listening to Dax and Monica. And here Dax and Monica said, I listened to the entire back catalog. I'm completely caught up. I listen every Monday and Thursday as soon as they release their episodes. Armchair Expert, oh my goodness.
I can't tell you how many conversations Jake starts with, I was listening to Dax and Monica.
Dax and Monica told me,
Yeah.
I love Dax and Monica, and especially Monica. And Dax.
I've only listened to one new podcast, You're Wrong About. A sweet spot for me. They take something, a historical event, and they kind of contextualize it and expand on it. And especially if it is misrepresented in popular culture, they unpack that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Reply All. It is so good and fun. They had this episode. This guy remembers hearing this song on the radio and he's telling his girlfriend about it years later. And she's like, what is this song? And he's like, you don't know this song? It was on the radio all the time. And he searches for it and there's like no trace of it. Then the Reply All guys get involved. They interview like industry professionals in the music industry, like everybody. Listen to that episode. I made you listen to it, or
Yeah.
at least the part of it. Oh god, it was so good.
Wind of Change. It's about a guy who tries to figure out if the song Wind of Change by the Scorpions was created by the FBI during the Cold War.
Scorpion?
Scorpions. The Scorpions.
Scorpions.
Yeah.
You said the Scorpions.
My favorite podcast isn't actually a podcast. It is a Instagram feed, which it isn't what you asked for. It is like a podcast. She does do podcasts and she does audiobooks. So it's Mel Robbins. You can kind of get her self-help advice for free on Instagram. What is really great about listening to her and understanding your relationships with other people, you can only change within yourself and your reaction to people around you. You can't change other people. It's just really good, thoughtful advice. Every time I think I've heard everything that she probably has to say, she comes out with something new that I just was like, yeah, that's exactly what just happened to me.
The Great Indoors, a British podcast about interiors. Two women with very different styles. One is maximalism and the other one is more minimalism, and they kind of fight like sisters, and it's very enjoyable. They clearly love each other, but also yeah, lots of disagreements on interior design.
I didn't listen to any podcasts.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Jump into the comments and let us know your favorite things of the year.
Yes, please.
I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you fared the horrible, horrible events of 2020.
I hope you have survived this year.
Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
Wear your masks. Let's hope 2021 is just so much better.
We've got work to do,
Yep.
but let's hope that it just isn't all so uphill.
Let's defund the police, but let's stop saying defund the police.
Let's rebrand this.
Yeah, we
social
gotta
movement.
rebrand this movement, because I think it's a large part of why Trump almost won re-election is because people are so scared of defunding the police. Anyhow, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!